に戦えるだろう。上血
スタークだ。
I've been watching Kamen Rider for 5 years now, and I know that's like baby time for a lot of you like decades-long fans, but 5 years is still 5 years. And over those years, I've been introduced to a lot of the franchise's villains. There have been so many villains that we've gotten to know throughout their respective series. There have been final villains that either stay in the background and let their underlings take care of everything, final villains that grow into the final villain, and final villains that show up on the battlefield and have a strong relationship with the heroes by the time they get to their final fight. And then there's Jun. Oh, sweet, confusing Jun. Each villain has their good parts and their bad parts, and for the most part, I've liked most of them. Gosh darn Jun. The thing is though, there is one Kamen Rider villain that has like a hold on me. One that ever since I finished the series, I've been just gushing over how well he was as the final villain. Bloodstalk, aka Evolto, is my favorite Kamen Rider villain at the time of this recording. And his actions, his actors' performances, they're gonna be the golden standard for me as I continue to watch the franchise. Why do I love him? What do future villains need to do for me to put them on the same pedestal as Evolto? That's what I want to talk about and find out. Strap in, let's not waste any more time and look back on Kamen Rider build, more specifically, Evolto. By the way, I know his name is Evil, but all the characters call him Evolto, and I think that just rolls off the tongue a lot better, so I'm sticking to Evolto. Evolto is very unique for me because of the relationship that he has with the main character, Sento. The other Rider series I've seen, none of these villains have been that close to the heroes. You watch build and sometimes you think Evolto might actually share some love towards Sento, that all the time spent with him might have unlocked something. While other times it seems like Sento is just an important piece of Evolto's plan, one that he enjoys messing with every now and then. It's one of the reasons why I like watching scenes where he's interacting with the hero team, because he's really like that with everybody. Banjo, Misura, the people that he actually has a close relationship with. I just haven't seen a hero-villain relationship that close while watching other Kamen Rider series. The closest would probably be Unk's relationship with the other Greed, but even that doesn't tug the heartstrings as much because, well, Unk's never liked or trusted any of them, so because of that, he's always kept his distance. Meanwhile, Sento and Evolto started off close, though all of that was fake, and after the reveal, Sento did keep up his guard, but by then it was already too late. Evolto was somebody who could always push Sento's buttons. Evolto, or as we knew him, Soichi Isurugi, was introduced to us as this comedic coffee shop owner. He was nice enough to give our amnesic Kamen Rider Sento a place to stay, but not nice enough to let him do it for free. Allegedly, I mean, we never actually saw him take any rent. Throughout the series, he wouldn't be in every scene. In fact, a lot of the times, Soichi would be in his part-time job, so he would randomly be absent. But while he was on screen, we would see him assisting Sento with purifying bottles, or at least just getting as excited as Sento whenever they were purified. He was even the executive producer slash director slash moderator of his daughter Misura's streams. Meta-wise, he was a good source of exposition and comedy. He was a solid, if not occasionally absent, member of the group. And I think it was episode 13 that the show really highlighted the family that he, Sento, and Misura were a part of. This only added to the pain because when it turned out Soichi was Bloodstalk, it really twisted the memories Sento had. Now, the writers did decide to wait until the reveal episode to talk about the family vibe Sento and Soichi had, and you would think that including this now would make this hit not so hard, and yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe this would have been really devastating if they mentioned this earlier. But in those beginning episodes, even though it wasn't mentioned, you as the audience could feel just how close and comfortable everyone was with each other. I think it really just goes with the whole vibe of Kamen Rider build, at least when the main characters are together. They're just goofy and fun and they play off each other really well. Soichi was the same with Sento and really everybody in the group. So when they did talk about being a family, It was easy to believe how supportive he was with his daughter, how excited he got with Sento when the bottle was made, how helpful he was explaining things to Banjo, how terrible he was at making coffee. That's probably why the reveal was so painful. They always did feel like a family even before it was actually mentioned. All that plus his character just felt really comedic and chill. I never suspected him. Besides, there's no way a villain could look this good. But episode 14, man, that was the episode that really lit a fire under the show for me. Like, since that episode, the show went from, okay, you know, enjoyable, to something I wanted to eat, sleep, and breathe constantly. The proper face-off between Sento and Soichi, Build and Stark, or Stalk, or whatever, those flashbacks mixed with the music really got me in the heartstrings. You got slash flashback, slash flashback. Mwah. Loved it. Sento's actor, Atsuhiro Nuke, sold the character's feelings in that moment. Sento felt so indebted to Soichi. After all, he believed he was saved by him, given purpose. Him pouring his heart out, saying he couldn't possibly kill him, and the fact that the whole time Stark was just like, okay, don't care. I believe that hurt a lot more than if Stark actually felt bad about what he was doing. I mean, this man is really evil. That scene really solidified what they were going for, and from that moment on, they ran with that. Stark was the man who used the team and betrayed them, and now he would pop up everywhere, making things harder for them as he worked closer and closer to his own goal. That was the other thing I loved about Stark. His involvement in each episode. Kamen Rider has had main villains that had many opportunities to actually meet the main character, and main villains in the background pulling strings. W had Ryubi far in the background, and Jun as well. Forze had Mitsuke Gamo. These villains, don't get me wrong, had shown that they were strong, which made me excited for when the main heroes would meet them. And we, the audience, had many scenes with them ourselves, but I will always prefer the villains that show up and establish a strong relationship with our main heroes, and Stark does just that. This man had a big master plan, and he is personally making sure everything goes according to it. I like villains like that. Ones with a big plan and is making it happen themselves. That combination of intelligence and strength really made me want to keep seeing him in more scenes, both action ones and just ones where he's interacting with people. Another thing I love is Stark's personality. I love seeing scenes with him. I love every one of his actors, Tetsuo Kano, Yasuki Maekawa, and all of the stunt actors who wore the Evolto and Stark suits and fought as him. Every single one of them understood the assignment and worked together to create this charismatic asshole, from the way he talked to how he moved around and fought. I like many kinds of villains. They all produce their own aura, but it's the smart ass annoying characters that I find just so much fun. They act like everything they do is a game, and just getting to spend time with the heroes they're facing is great for them. They love pushing their buttons. Watching them is like pure entertainment because they're just having so much fun themselves. But when these characters get upset, when too many things don't go as planned and they get mad or at least annoyed, well, that can be scary too because of how unpredictable they could be. Evolto's personality is strongly backed up with his intelligence and his battle skills. I've already talked about how much I liked his brain. He's no idiot goofing around. He's a careful and patient alien man. And we, the audience, realize just how many people are stuck in his web. But his fighting skills are also impressive. Even in his weakest form, he's shown being able to play around with his opponent for a while. And in the series, by the time the characters began to catch up, he evolved into his next form. That's what I like, because when it comes to the live-lose villain, the line between impressive character and an annoying character is very thin. If you have a super confident, super jokey villain and they're trash, well, they're just gonna end up looking ridiculous. But Evolto actually can back up his loose nature. He's confident like that because he knows he can afford to. To him, humans aren't a real threat, so he can goof around. And it's that overconfident, that belief, that he can just use us as pawns and get away with it that ends up being his undoing. So, I mean, look, it works perfectly. It's my love for this character that helps make Kamen Rider build so good in my book. I'm not saying that build isn't strong in other areas. I mean, I love the main characters, the fights, the special effects, so on and so forth, but I'm just saying that Evolto's piece of the puzzle is a very significant one for me. It's probably why I love the series so much, but really dislike the plot of the movie Be the One more and more. I mean, it's getting to the point where I wake up and think, really wasn't that good, that movie, just really not good. I mean, I liked a few things. The fights, the fusion, getting to spend time with the main cast. Oh, and the zombie stuff. The amount of extras they had in that movie was insane. But the actual plot, no, more specifically, the inclusion of Evolto's people, the Blood, felt so unnecessary. In Be the One and Banjo's movie as well, it felt like the writers felt the need to expand on Evolto's story and flesh out things like Pandora's box and Evolto's big master plan in the actual series. In Be the One, it's revealed that Evolto didn't act alone, and in fact, he had 3 other Bloods who helped him throughout the series. And I don't just mean doing the legwork, I mean actually coming up with parts of the plan. This wasn't just Evolto's plan, it was all of their plans. I don't know if the writers felt like we, the audience, didn't believe Evolto could come up with all of this on his own, and they needed a more realistic answer to know how he's been so successful. All this ended up doing, though, was lessening Evolto's achievements. I mean, I never thought it was unrealistic that he did all of this on his own. Hell, I never even needed to meet another member of his race. One of the things that made Evolto so impressive was how he was able to juggle all of these plans at the same time. So saying this person was responsible for Banjo's girlfriend's death, or this person is the one who brought Sento and Banjo together, it doesn't feel clever or like they were answering this big question, but instead it felt like they were diluting what made Evolto awesome. They did still have Evolto stand alone in that movie, which I liked, but still, I don't think it was worth it. I mentioned that Banjo's movie did this too, but at least that one didn't mess with Evolto's character or ruin his accomplishments. In the Dragon movie, we get introduced to Evolto's brother, Kilbus, and it's revealed that he was the one that destroyed their home planet and was the original owner of the Pandora's box before Evolto stole it. Now this is fine because this is just an extra piece of lore for Evolto that doesn't interfere with his efforts at all. Plus, seeing Evolto beat his older brother, something he wasn't able to do in the past, it was nice. I mean, I'm sure little brothers everywhere got to puff their chest a little after seeing that. But yeah, even though I liked it, it also wasn't really needed. I honestly went years without watching both of these movies, and honestly, I think I was better for it. You can choose not to acknowledge these pieces of lore and it doesn't affect the main story at all, which I like and choose to do. More for Be the One than the Dragon movie because, like I said, I actually like that one. Evolto is just an entertaining villain. I love him, and he didn't need to be misunderstood or have a super sad backstory or a redemption. He was just evil. Maybe he had a little love for the little humans he got to spend a little time with, but being honest, he didn't actually let that affect him one bit. He was just cruel to them, you know? Like, he didn't have any love for the girl he fathered for years. He was just evil because he liked destroying worlds and he wanted his powers back. And damn it, that's okay. Some of the most iconic villains are just evil. They play it beautifully and entertainingly, but they're just evil. That's it. As long as you can make your villains entertaining and fun to watch, there's no problem with that. At least, not for me. Was he perfect? No. Still, don't understand what the show was talking about when they said that Sento unlocked his emotions, because he was clearly pissed in this scene. But the plot holes are so insignificant when I think about this character. And I feel like when your character is able to do that to an audience member, you won. Still, try to avoid plot holes, future writers, but you know what I mean. I don't think many future and past Kamen Rider villains will ever reach this point for me again. Evolto's, well, he's gonna be a hard one to beat. One, because of how well he's written, and two, because he's my first really well-written favorite main Kamen Rider villain. But that's not to say that it's impossible. I definitely like the franchise to give it a shot, and I hope to see what they got in store in the future. So that's basically it. that was my thoughts on Evolto. I just wanted to spend however long glazing this character over and over again because I just love him so much. I once again love doing these kind of Kamen Rider videos where I'm just discussing stuff, and I hope to continue to do it. I already have another plan to talk about a specific Kamen Rider build episode that I really enjoyed. That I mean, if they won an award for that episode, I wouldn't be surprised because it was just so good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe so you guys know when I upload next. If you guys are new, I do react to Kamen Rider series. Unfortunately, I watched this series before I started doing reactions, so there's none of that on my channel except for the movies, actually, which I do talk about in this discussion. So check that out down in the channel down below. The link is there. And check out my other Kamen Rider reactions. I've reacted to W, Futo PI, O's, Forze, and I'm right now reacting to Kamen Rider Wizard. So check all that stuff down in the comment section down below, or not the comment section down below, the link down below. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.